Hello and welcome to the next episode of our Let's Look At series, the Advanced Dungeons & Dragons Monster Manual. So let's just jump right into it. We left off on the J's, so we've got Jackal Ware. Let's read that. The Jackal Ware is a maligned foe of mankind, a jackal able to assume the form of a man. In this guise, they roam about seeking to waylay and murder humans. They then steal their riches and eat the slain victims. Okay. Jaguar. Corinne. The Corinne are a race of aerial creatures whose hooves rarely touch the earth, for they dwell amongst the clouds and behind the winds. Females are never encountered, and Corinne are always solitary. They sometimes aid humans if properly abjured, or the need to combat evil is great. They sometimes travel the astral and elemental and ethereal planes. And then we've got Kobold, one of my favorites. The society of these creatures is tribal, with war bands based on gens. Stronger tribes rule weaker ones. Kobolds are usually found in dank, dark places such as dismal overgrown forests, or subterranean settings. Ooh, look at that art. We're already on to L. Lamia. Lamias prefer to dwell in deserts, in ruined cities, caves, or the like. Their upper torsos, arms, and heads resemble a human female, while their lower body is that of a beast. Lamias are very fast and powerful. They usually are armed with daggers. Okay. Lamasu. Lamasu dwell in warm regions, but they occasionally visit very climb. What? But they occasionally visit very climb. It is the nature of these creatures to aid and protect lawful good persons, and they are of generally kind and friendly disposition to all good creatures. Lamprey. Larva. That's hold on, let me see. Yeah, that's disgusting. Leech. Leopard. Leprechaun. Oh, look at the art for the leprechaun. He's actually sitting on his name. Leprechauns normally dwell only in fair green lands with lush hills and dales for them to frolic through. Occasionally, a party of adventurous ones will reside elsewhere for a time. These small creatures of magical talent and mischievous nature can become invisible at will, polymorph non-living objects, create illusions, and use ventriloquism spells as often as they like. Lucrota. I'm yawning. Sorry. This weird creature haunts deserted and desolated places, for it is so ugly most other creatures cannot bear the sight of it. The body of a Lucrota resembles that of a stag, its tail being rather lion-like, and its legs in cloven hooves. Sorry, I thought my nose was bleeding. Its head is that of a huge badger, but instead of teeth, it has sharp, jagged, bony ridges. Ugh. And then we got Lich. I've never used a Lich in my campaigns before, but I've always wanted to. A Lich exists because of its own desires and the use of powerful arcane magic. The Lich passes from a state of humanity to a non-human, non-living existence through force of will. It retains this status by certain conjurations, enchantments, and a phylactery. Then we've got then we got Lion, Lizard Man. Lizard men are semi-aquatic, breathing air, but often 35% dwelling totally underwater and having caves which are not water, or are not water filled in which they lair. They are typically found in swamps, marshes, and similar places. They band together in a rough tribal form. Okay. Locathon. The Locathon are a humanoid race of aquatic nomads. They roam shallow sea waters, hunting and gathering food from bountiful warm waters. Lurker Above, which has some great art. The Lurker Above is a carnivorous creature found only in the subterranean places. If the chamber or cave is large, if the cave or chamber is large, there might be as many as 4 of them, but normally only one is encountered. A lurker can creep along surfaces, but slowly, or by using a gas which it generates and excretes into sacs about its body. This gives the lurker a natural buoyancy, and then it flaps its wings like appendages and flies about. Lycanthrope. We got a lot here. Lycanthropes are humans with the ability to assume animal form. During the hours of darkness, they most commonly shape change to their animal form. In periods of a full moon, lycanthropes are 90% likely to be compelled to assume their alter shape. And then we have werebear. Great werebears are the most powerful of all lycanthropes. They never are found in other than full-grown state. Werebears alone are 50% likely to be in company with 1 to 6 brown bears. Then we've got wereboar. Found in dense woodland and were-boars are of ugly temper and are likely to attack. Were-rat. Sometimes known as rat-men, these sly and evil creatures inhabit subterranean tunnel complexes beneath cities. Were-rats are able to take 3 forms: human, human-sized rat-man, and giant rat. Were-tiger. Were-tigers are quite similar to normal tigers in their habitat. They are most often female. Really, it is only 5% likely that were-tigers will mingle with the normal sort of cat. And then finally, werewolf. In their human form, werewolves are very difficult to detect, for they can be nearly any build and of either sex. Werewolves are prone to retain bipedal form in their werewolf state, but wolves which can become man, always take normal wolf form. Lynx, mammoth, manticore. Manticores prefer dismal lairs, so that they are typically found in caves or underground. In caves or underground. Let me read that from the beginning. Manticores prefer dismal lairs, so they are typically found in caves or underground. They range in all climes, although they enjoy warm places more than cold. Their favorite prey of manticores is man, and they are usually encountered outside their lairs hunting for human victims. Then we've got masher. These worm-like fish move slowly along coral reefs, crushing and eating the coral growth. If surprised or threatened, they are prone to attack in self-defense. Then we've got mastodon. Medusa. Medusa are hateful humanoid creatures which dwell in dark caves or caverns, venturing forth on occasion to seek prey. They try to beguile humans to look into their eyes. And then we've got a whole section on men. Bandit, berserker, brigand, buccaneers, favorite football team, cavemen, dervish. Oh, I'm still on. Nomad, merchant, pilgrim. The whole section on men. Am I on the right page? Yep. Mermen. Mermen are found in the seas and oceans in the warm, temperate, and tropical areas. They range over areas harvesting the vegetation and hunting the fish the seeds provide. Additionally, mermen actually herd certain fishes. Okay. They venture out of the water only to sun themselves or to visit some coastal spot. Mimic. I've used mimics before, but not as frequently as I'd like. Mimics are subterranean creatures which cannot stand the light of the sun. Okay. They are able to perfectly mimic stone or wood. Mind Flayer. I actually had my longest running campaign, the main antagonists were a collection of mind flayers that had been turned by a human into automatons. Mind flayers are found only in subterranean places, as they detest sunlight. They are greatly evil and consider the bulk of humanity and its kin as cattle to feed upon. Okay. Minotaur, mold, Morkoth. The Morkoth, or Morlock, is a dim, shadowy monster often referred to as the Wraith of the Deep. It is possibly humanoid, but reports vary. It inhabits dark, deep waters. Mule. And then we got Naga. Naga are snake-like creatures with good brains and magical abilities. They are encountered in warm climes in most cases. Oh, okay, yeah, so I skipped Mummy on accident, but Naga. And then we've got Guardian Naga, Spirit Naga, and Water Naga. Neo-Otyugh. Neo-Otyugh are a large, more intelligent species of Otyugh. They conform to the general I'm so sorry. They conform to the general characteristics of Otyugh and are even more aggressive in their hunting of prey. Then we got Night Hag with some horrifying art. The race of Night Hag rules the convoluted places of Hades, and they are seldom encountered elsewhere. In their own region, they are numerous, but they appear but singingly on the material plane, and always in search of very evil persons to slay and bring to Hades to form another larva, a valuable commodity to both demons and devils alike. Nightmare. Also known as demon horses and hell horses, nightmares are creatures from the lower planes. They are ridden primarily by the more powerful demons and devils, as well as by night hags. On occasion, they serve as steeds for undead, such as specters, vampires, and liches? Liches. Nixie. Nixie are water sprites which inhabit lakes. They can, but seldom do, venture onto land. The Nixies weave dwellings of living seaweed, so it is 95% unlikely that their lair will be noticed at any distance under 2 feet. Furthermore, Nixies will have giant fish to guard their lair, 1 to 2 gar, or 2 to 5 pike, which obey simple commands given by the Nixies. They can also summon 10 to 100 small fish. Nymph. These beautiful, ever-young appearing women inhabit the loveliest of wilderness places, grottos in the seas, clear lakes and streams, and crystalline caverns. They dislike any form of intrusion, and they have means to prevent it. Okay, ochre jelly. I actually had one of my players must die to ochre jelly recently. Ochre jelly are a form of giant amoeba. They seep about in dungeons, hunting for any form of flesh or cellulose to devour. They far prefer the former. And then we got octopus ogre. Ogres can be found in virtually any terrain, including subterranean places. They are ugly-tempered and voracious. Ogres are also fond of treasure, and they will sometimes be found serving as mercenaries in the ranks of orc tribes or evil clerics, or joining with gnolls for a profitable raid. Ogre mage. Oh, is this an Oni? I think so. Japanese ogre magi, are not as rare elsewhere as they are in this part of the world. They normally seek uninhabited places in which to lair, typically in a fortified dwelling or some secure cavern complex below ground. From this location, the ogre magi will foray to capture treasure and humans for slaves and food. Then we've got orc. Everybody knows orc. Otter, and then we got Atug, the normal one, not Neo. These weird monsters are omnivorous scavengers, not at all hesitant about adding a bit of fresh meat to their diet of dung, offal, and carrion. They hate direct sunlight or bright light, so they are found underground in most caves. Then we got owl, and then we got the staple owlbear with some hilarious art. The horrible owlbear is probably the result of genetic experimentation by some insane wizard. These creatures inhabit the tangled forest regions of every temperate clime, as well as subterranean labyrinths. They are ravenous eaters, aggressive hunters, and evil tempers at all times. They attack prey on sight and will fight to the death. Now on to P. So what do we have? I think we'll only do one more episode after this. Pegasus, Periton. Peritons dwell in rocky hills or mountainous regions. They are omnivorous creatures of the weirdest appearance, likely the result of the same type of experimentation as brought about the owlbear. Then we've got Piercer. Piercers inhabit caves, caverns, and similar subterranean places. With their stony outer casing, these monsters are indistinguishable from stalactites found on cave roofs. They are attracted by noise and heat, and when a living creature passes beneath their position above, they will drop upon it in order to kill and devour it. Large varieties will be found with smaller ones. And we got pike. Pixie. Pixies dwell only in the most idyllic of woodlands. They are naturally invisible and are thus almost never noted, even though some creature passes near their secluded home. Porcupine. Portuguese man-o'-war. Giant. Really? Portuguese man-o'-war float in warm sea waters, trailing their deadly tentacles below. Any creature which touches these appendages takes damage from their poison, and if a saving throw versus paralyzation is not made, the victim is paralyzed and will be drawn up by the Portuguese man-o'-war tentacles and devoured in 3 to 12 turns. Horrifying. Pseudo-dragon. Pseudo-dragons are found in any clime, save the coldest or hottest, when they are found at all. These creatures are rare indeed and highly sought after. They lair in great hollow trees or small caves. And I'll read Purple Worm, and then I'll call it. Purple worms burrow deep beneath the ground in a constant search for food. They sense vibrations of 60 feet and move to attack. Generally, only adult specimens, 8 to 9 in diameter and 40 to 50 long, are encountered. Young are 1 foot in diameter and about 5 feet when they hatch, typical hatchling being 10-20 each, with 1 hit die plus 4 hit points. They return to their lairs to rest, and they expel such indistinguishable waste as metal, mineral crystals. Okay, so that's another section done. We'll probably get like one more video out of this book. But if you enjoyed what you saw, consider leaving a like and subscribing. And if you leave a comment, I may not reply to them all, but I do read them. So thanks for watching.